Hi crafty friends, Melissa Minor here. Thanks so much for joining me on my YouTube channel. Today I'm creating a layout for the P13 design team and I'm using the brand new collection called Breathe and Bloom. If you haven't seen this collection, it is absolutely gorgeous. So here is a look at the paper pad. I've got the 12 by 12 pattern paper here, and there's also a couple sheets included that you can fussy cut. But what I've done a few things in preparation for today's layout. I've taken a piece of cardstock and I used my Cricut and cut out this shape. And then for the middle, I cut out a piece of the pattern paper. I just traced it and used the Breathe and Bloom P13 paper. So to make this frame stand out a little bit, and I got this in Cricut Access. I think it was a free cut file. Just, what is this? Let's see, it has six sides to it. And I couldn't decide which Distress Oxide I wanted to use. So I thought that this green would really pull out the greens in the pattern paper, and this is called Iced Spruce. So I'm just going to go along the edges here with my ink blending tool and just get all the edges inked up in this Iced Spruce color. I debated on using the color Old Paper. I think it would also be a great color to use with this collection, and I still might try to bring that color in later on in the layout. So I will go ahead and ink this up off camera. Now I'm going to go ahead and take that frame. I've got it flipped upside down, and this is the piece of pattern paper that I traced the inside, and then you can see my pencil lines there. I cut it out with my scissors, and now I'm just going to glue this down so I've got one whole piece to add to my 12 by 12 sheet of white cardstock. So here we go. Isn't that pretty? I love that paper. So this paper reminds me of field notes, like a Fields Notes notebook, because it's got all kinds of little pages with little leaves. And so I pulled a couple pictures that I wanted to scrapbook. This is my boyfriend Dale and I, and we were in Colorado looking at the mountains there. You can see the gorgeous scene in the back. And I thought these would go great with like that Field Notes paper. That's what it reminded me of. So I printed two 3x4 photos. I printed home. I have the Epson PictureMate 400. Love that printer. And now I do want to bring in that old paper. So to make this shape stand out a little more, I'm going to take this old paper Distress Oxide ink and just ink all around the edges just to kind of give it a glow and make it stand out a little more on the page. So it gives it a little more interest this way by adding some ink behind here. So I won't do all of this on camera. I'll do some of this off camera, but you get the idea here. I'm just going to go all around and make sure I like the way that the ink looks around this piece. Okay, so I have this stencil from Simple Stories, and it has like all these little branches, and I thought this would kind of tie into the pattern paper as well. So I'm pulling back out that Iced Spruce Distress Oxide ink, the same color I used on the frame, and I'm going in here with my ink blending tool, and I'm just going to add a few of these branches here and there. And this is going to be, I'm going to put it here in this upper right hand corner because I do want to make an embellishment cluster up here. And it looks like I need a few more. So I'm going to add my stencil back on and just be careful not to stencil over where I had done before, but it's okay if I do. Kind of going for that little messy look here. So I've got those branches, and then I'll go ahead and add some more down here in the lower left so I can build an embellishment cluster down here as well. So let me go ahead and get a few more branches on here. And yeah, I like the way that looks. So that's going to give a little resting place for my embellishments to go. And you know, really in the end, you're not going to see much of this stenciling, but I know it's back there. I think that's the way it goes when you add like mixed media to your layouts. The majority of it ends up getting covered up, but that's okay. it does add just another level of interest to the page when you're looking at it. All right, so I do have this new title piece that I got from Colorcast Designs, and it says view from here. And how perfect is that? Because we are just admiring the view. So now I just need to decide, do I want it in the upper right or the lower left? And I think I like it on the lower left. So because I want the pattern paper to show through. And if I put it in that upper right, that's where the majority of the pattern paper is showing, and I don't want to cover that up. So when I add acrylic titles to my layouts, I like to use Nuvo Tacky Glue, or Nuvo Deluxe Glue, sorry, getting my two glues combined. I use Tacky Glue for my wet glue, but Nuvo Deluxe Glue for adhering like sequins or acrylic titles because it dries super clear. All right, I found this die in my stash. I believe this is the Sunny Lane Florals. I'll leave everything linked down below in the description box for you. But I really liked the dies for the leaves on here, so I went ahead and cut out 4 of those off camera. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those down, and I just used a green cardstock from my stash to cut these. So I want to build up some floral clusters. So you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, I've got some florals picked out, and this is just a mixture of different brands. I've got some 49 Market florals. I've got some Little Birdie florals. This is a little tree that I fussy cut from one of the cut apart sheets in the P13 paper pad. And so I definitely wanted to use it, and the tree just ties this in perfectly. And then I've got these leaves. Now these are actually like paper leaves that came with those flowers that I have on the left. And I just want to make these clusters a little more full. So I'm going to add a few of these leaves here. And then when I adhere my florals over top, it'll be better. So when I glue these flowers down, I like to use this heavy matte gel. And what I do is I just take an old paintbrush, not one that you're going to ever use paint on again. This is just strictly for gluing things. And I just put some on the back, and this will hold these flowers in. There is no moving them once you get them down. So I really like this heavy matte gel. That's what it is. Okay, so I got those in place, and now I want to add a couple to this bottom cluster. Aren't these flowers so pretty? And I just think I love the way this turned out. I really didn't have a clear picture of where I was going when I started, and I love it when this happens. So I'm going to put another one of these leafy bits down here. And I kind of think this cluster in the bottom left needs something else. So I'm going to go digging through my flowers to see if I can find another one. So here is a look at how I store my flowers. This is one of those mesh bags from scrapbook.com. I think I got several free with an order, but they do also sell them, and they are just perfect for keeping my florals. So I just keep them all in here in my packages. So I grabbed out a 49 Market rose, and I just have, various flowers and different colors and mixing and matching them. And I think that this turned out good. So I put a little heavy matte gel on here. So I've got that one glued down, and yeah, I like that so much better. And then to clean my paintbrush, I'm not going to paint with it. This is just for that glue. I just use a baby wipe and wipe it off. Okay, I do want to add some splatters, so I'm adding some Shimmers paints. This is a Color Splash, which is a glossy acrylic spray, and this is the color Penny in Your Pocket. And if you ever place an order on the Shimmers Paints website, you can add my name, Melissa Minor, to the notes section, and they'll send you a free paint. So that is going to wrap up my layout today. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button. If you're new, I hope you'll subscribe and come back, and here's a few still shots for you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!